everyone, it's Lexi, and so this video is coming up a little bit later. I wasn't able to film this video when I planned. It's just been a crazy week because I was gone for, we had March break, and then I was off a week for my surgery, so this is my first week back at school. It was just crazy. I had a lot of projects that I needed to kind of do because we have to do them in the lab, so that was a big thing. And then I also had a CPR class, first aid, and I was already certified a couple years ago, but I just never renewed it, so I needed it for my clinicals that I'll be doing over the summer. So I did that on Friday night, which was when I was gonna film this video and have it up by, but just did not happen. So yeah, so this video is a little bit long overdue, but basically it is my review and discussion of the first Tales and Teacups book club pick that we did, and it was A Fall of Marigolds by Susan Meissner. And this is a book that I had on my shelf for quite a while, and I decided why not make it just the first book club pick. So basically the story follows the premise of two women who kind of have a dual storyline, one that takes place in 1911, Claire, and then also one that takes place in present day, Taryn, in 2011. So Clara is a woman who we first find out who is a nurse on Ellis Island, and so she kind of takes care of all the people that kind of come in that have infections or they're sick, and she that's her job there. And she hasn't left the island in several months since she's gotten here. We find out that she was a survivor of the Triangle, I wrote this down because I won't forget it, but the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire, which happened in New York City, and it actually was a real event. I looked it up, but basically there was this fire, and the way there's a lot of not really good building code regulations, so essentially it led to a lot of people jumped to their deaths because the stairway was closed off, and they obviously couldn't use the elevator, so people who were on this floor ended up jumping to their deaths or burning to death. So she witnessed that, and she felt a lot of guilt because one of the this man that she was an acquaintance with was gonna meet her there to kind of show her around, and he wouldn't have been there if it weren't for her, and he died in the fire, so she felt a lot of guilt about that, and especially because she was a nurse and she couldn't really help anyone with her training, so she's feeling a lot of guilt. And yeah, so she's on Ellis Island and she's having her own thing with just kind of her struggle as well. And then it also flash forwards to 2011. Taryn, I think is how you pronounce her name, and she was a survivor of 9/11, and her husband died at the top of one of the World Trade Centers. I guess there's a restaurant up there. Again, Clara, she's feeling a lot of guilt with that because her husband wouldn't have been there if it weren't for her. She's the one who suggested to kind of meet there, and she was running a little late, and then the airplane ran into the building and he passed away. So she is suffering a lot of guilt from that. And what ties these two women together is this scarf that has marigolds on it. Clara meets this man who has this marigold sweater or marigold scarf, and she kind of has this connection to this man who is an immigrant from England, and his wife of 1 week passed away on the ship, and he also has contracted scarlet fever, so she is the nurse taking care of it, and she finds that she has this connection with this guy and all that. So, and then also in present day, Taryn was kind of getting that scarf from a woman. She matches fabrics and all that, so she picked that up literally from the client 20 minutes before the World Trade Center got hit by the plane, and that scarf saved her life, but she hasn't found it since. So basically I'll give you the premise there, but this story was really good. I was pleasantly surprised with it because I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did feel a little bit of disconnect from Taryn just because a lot of the chapters are centered around Clara. But other than that, it was really good. I think it's just kind of shows the progression of just kind of being in that in-between place and not really living and and all that. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting, and it had a lot of plot twists to it, and I was trying to see how it was connected, but then towards the end it was just oh yeah, it was really good. And I don't know, it's just I thought it was really well written, and I have another book by the author, and I think it's like Secrets of a Charmed Life. That's also that's like a World War II novel, so I'm really excited to pick that one up as well. But if you are looking for a book that kind of has like a historical element, but also like has a tragedy that's very relevant or like new to like relevant in our society, I think this would be a very good book to read, and just kind of having to deal with loss in your life and all that. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for like my review, and then I will go into my discussion with spoilers. So yeah, so if you are, as I said, I recommend this book highly. It was really good. I think you will be surprised with it. But yeah, it's really good. Love, loss, has a historical element to it. So yeah, so I'm going to start going with my discussion. So if you don't want to be spoiled with it, then please check out now, and let's just go ahead into this discussion. So I honestly really love this book. I did find like, oh, like, okay, yeah, this is getting interesting. Like, I wonder what the connection is between like these two women and the scarf, and like how does, you know, like get passed down and all this stuff. Like, it was really interesting. And then like once Clara read Lily's letter, I was like, okay, I see the potential with this book. Like, holy smokes, like, I don't know, like I thought it was so intriguing, because I feel like, what would I do in that situation if I was, yeah, like going through his thing and I found this letter saying that his wife basically scammed him and just used him to get out of like a bad relationship. Like, I don't know, and just kind of like that. And I really liked the parallel storylines that we got to experience. Like, they were tragedies of that time frame, and I think it was good to show like they both had guilt around like these tragedies and just like all that, and just how they coped with it, like being in an in-between place. And I think that's really important, because like I feel like a lot of people, especially like after a death or like a really bad incident, I feel like people do get stuck in an in-between place where they're unable to like to go back, and they're incapable of moving forward. And I really like that. I think that's really good, and you're not really living at that point, because I feel like Clara, like that in-between place was like Ellis Island, just getting away from the world. Like, this whole world's moving around, like going on, moving forward without her, and she's just stuck here. And then for Taryn as well, just not really explaining or like processing what happened like at 9/11. And I think like I really liked how that element as well, just because I feel like a lot of people, even though it doesn't have to be like a huge tragedy like 9/11, just like having like a death of a loved one, I think that is really relatable as well. And I liked how the scarf symbolized how they like, it kind of pushed them out of their downward spiral, and then it kind of made them confront the truth, and just it came like that symbol of just accepting and getting out and just moving on. Like, you don't forget, but you still like move on with your life. And I think that was really good to kind of show that symbolism of what that scarf meant. And I liked how Clara just kind of passed that scarf down to women who needed it more once she realized that she can move on with her life. I really like that, and I really think that's a really good message. And I think like the overall message of the story, which I really kind of got out of it, was, I mean, I have like my notes here, so like I really liked how the message basically was that love is a gift, and it's something we choose in our lives, like move forward and changed whether we like it or not. And I think this is something that is relevant in everyday life, as I said, like for a lot of people. And like, you know, like, would we be better off not knowing these people we lost? Or is the loss like, is it better to have loved than have lost? I think is essentially what it's saying. And I liked basically the like how Clara in particular, like she had like both women had a strong like friend in their life, especially like the male, like I guess like the men in their lives. I guess like this could be like also like a feminist issue, how these women needed like the men to kind of push them in that direction. But for Clara, it would have been, I think like especially like with Clara, like Andrew, like who she kind of met, like they were both kind of, she was in love with his grief. And I think that like they understood that part of each other, but like they would just hold each other back. And then I also think like I really loved Ethan's character, like how he was supportive and then like trying to get Clara to be like out of that, I think was really neat to see, and just how he supported her and gave her space when he needed it. And then for Taryn, that person was Mick. I like how it tied in with the picture from 9/11 and she didn't know who this man was. And that was so sad when he got that text message from Taryn's husband, and because she just felt guilt because she never heard, she wanted closure. She got closure with that, not him not knowing that she was safe and just like they were gonna have a child. And I think that was like really heartbreaking to read. But I liked how both characters had closure with their tragedies and were able to kind of just like let go and just kind of move on with their lives. I think like the people that they lost wanted them to like just kind of go on with their life, and I really enjoyed that aspect. Yeah, and I feel like especially going back to Clara and Andrew, like the grief kind of blinded them into thinking like they would have like this relationship with one another. Like it just blinded them and all that. So yeah, I don't think they would have worked out. In my opinion, I was really shipping Clara and Ethan, and just how like we find out like she leaves him, and then we find that she wanted to go back to him. Like I was like, yes. I was really happy about that. And then like I said, I like how Clara passed the scarf down to women who were kind of stuck in that in-between place, and just kind of that scarf is a symbol of just like kind of moving forward and like grabbing you out and just like pushing you back into the world. I really liked how that scarf was like passed down, and then how that scarf was eventually passed down to Taryn. I really liked that, like how it came like full circle. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna quickly read off some of my favorite quotes. I have them on my laptop. I just need to pull that up. So yeah. Okay, so I have my laptop here, so let me just say I have like a few quotes here. So the first one is I didn't write down the page number for this one. Two of them I didn't write down the page number, but two of the other ones I did. So this one doesn't have a page number. So the first one is, life goes on and it is too short to spend it on wishing you made a different choice or taken a different path. Rejoice in today and be happy. I think that's really important, just to kind of like, you can't spend your life worrying about what if, or like what if things turned out differently, because then I think you're just stuck in the past and that you don't think about the present. You're living in the past and you're not living in the present. The next one is, life is real in all its complexity, and though it can be painfully difficult, it can also be unspeakably wonderful. Beautiful quote. That was on page 271. This next one was also on page 363, and it says, do not choose to abandon love because you are afraid that it will crush you. Love is the only true constant in a fragile world. Don't despair, be happy, choose hope. Again, like, so good. And then this is the last one, and it says, the person who completes your life is not so much the person who shares all the years of your experience, but rather the person who made your life worth living, no matter how long or short a time you were given to spend with them. So again, like, I feel like these 4 quotes basically summarize like the whole premise of this book. So yeah. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below what you felt about this book, and if you've read it, and your thoughts and opinions. And yeah, don't forget to participate in this month's book club pick of the month. It is The Plum Tree by Ellen Marie Wiseman. I have a video all about that, and if you're interested in joining the book club, it'll be all down below. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.